Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about Vladimir Zhirinovsky, one of the most famous and eccentric politicians in Russia. Zhirinovsky was born on April 25, 1946, in Alma-Ata, Kazakhstan. His father, Wolf Edelstein, was a Polish Jew, and his mother, Alexandra Makarovna, was Russian. From childhood, Vladimir was characterized by his unconventionality and thirst for attention. Zhirinovsky was educated at Moscow State University, where he studied international relations and then earned a law degree. In 1989, he founded the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia, LDPR, and became its permanent leader, turning it into the third most important party in the country. Zhirinovsky is also known for his predictions, which often sounded fantastic, but some of them came true. For example, he predicted war in Ukraine long before it started. He also predicted the possible collapse of the United States, which caused widespread publicity. Zhirinovsky has repeatedly run for president of Russia, starting with the 1991 elections. Despite the fact that he never managed to hold the office, his participation in elections has always attracted attention and influenced the political landscape of the country. Vladimir Zhirinovsky and Vladimir Putin met in the early 2000s. Putin respected Zhirinovsky for his ability to draw attention to pressing issues and for his dedication to politics. As Zhirinovsky once said, "Any state rests on three pillars: strength, order, and stability." These words perfectly reflect his political philosophy and approach to governance. Vladimir Wolfovich Zhirinovsky was born on April 25, 1946, in Alma-Ata, Kazakhstan, the son of Wolf Edelstein, a Polish Jew, and Alexandra Makarovna, a Russian. His childhood and youth were spent in the post-war years, which were not easy for many Soviet families. Despite the difficulties, Zhirinovsky's family strove to give their son a good education and upbringing. At school, Vladimir stood out for his extraordinary abilities and thirst for knowledge. He was an active student, participated in various school events, and showed interest in social activities. These qualities helped him to enter Moscow State University, MSU, where he began to study international relations at the Faculty of International Relations. Moscow State University was one of the most prestigious educational institutions in the Soviet Union, and enrolling there was a great achievement for Zhirinovsky. At the university, he continued to actively participate in public life, showing leadership qualities. His studies at Moscow State University gave him the opportunity to study not only international relations, but also the history, politics, and economics of various countries, which greatly broadened his horizons. In 1969, he graduated with honors, which allowed him to continue his education and obtain a law degree. After graduating from Moscow State University, Zhirinovsky served in the Soviet Army, where he also proved himself as a disciplined and determined person. Serving in the Army strengthened his character and helped him develop leadership skills. Later, he enrolled in the Institute of Asian and African Studies at Moscow State University, where he deepened his knowledge of international relations and world politics. His research and analytical skills enabled him to become an expert in international relations, which played an important role in his later political career. Thus, his education and early years of life laid a solid foundation for his future political activities, shaping him as a multifaceted and well-rounded leader. In 1989, Vladimir Zhirinovsky founded the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia, LDPR, during the period of perestroika and democratization of the USSR. Establishing the LDPR was not easy. Zhirinovsky faced distrust of the elites and the need to win popular support. His charisma and straightforwardness helped draw attention to the party. In the 1990 elections to the Supreme Soviet of the RSFSR, the LDPR received 7.8% of the vote, a significant success. Zhirinovsky became a deputy, and his radical ideas made him a recognizable figure. In 1991, he ran for president of Russia for the first time. Despite losing, his campaign attracted attention and was an important milestone in his career. Zhirinovsky often faced criticism and scandals. For example, his statements about Russia's expansion at the expense of neighboring states provoked negative reactions. However, he knew how to use criticism to draw attention to his person and party. In 1995, he threw a juice glass at an opponent at a debate, which caused a wide resonance. Zhirinovsky became the permanent leader of the LDPR, and under his leadership, the party was consistently in the top 3 in State Duma elections. His ability to be flamboyant and unpredictable ensured the LDPR a significant place in Russian politics. Despite the challenges, Zhirinovsky has retained his influence and remains one of the most colorful figures in Russian politics. Vladimir Zhirinovsky became known for his predictions, which often seemed fantastic, but some of them came true. One of the most famous predictions was his statement about war in Ukraine long before it started. Zhirinovsky repeatedly spoke of a possible conflict in that territory, and his predictions came true in 2014 when fighting in eastern Ukraine began. Zhirinovsky also predicted the rise of China's influence on the world stage. In the early 2000s, when many people still doubted China's economic and political power, Zhirinovsky confidently declared that China would become one of the world's leading leaders. Today, China does indeed occupy a key position in world politics and economy. In addition, Zhirinovsky predicted various events inside Russia. For example, he talked about possible economic crises and protest movements that did take place in the country. His ability to analyze and foresee the development of events made his opinions and predictions a subject of attention and discussion. Zhirinovsky has repeatedly run for president of Russia since the 1991 elections. His election campaigns have always been characterized by vividness and scandalousness. He used his campaigns as a platform to express his views and draw attention to various political issues. Despite the fact that he never managed to hold the office, his participation in the elections always attracted attention and influenced the political landscape of the country. Vladimir Zhirinovsky has been actively involved in international politics, representing the LDPR at various forums and meetings. He repeatedly traveled abroad, where he met with foreign politicians and diplomats. Zhirinovsky expressed his views on world politics and international relations, often making provocative statements. One of the interesting highlights of his international activities was his meeting with Saddam Hussein in Iraq. Zhirinovsky maintained friendly relations with Iraq and openly opposed U.S. policy toward the country. He also visited other countries in the Middle East, Africa, and Europe, where he met with leaders and discussed international issues. His international activities often drew criticism, but they also drew attention to the LDPR and its political positions. Zhirinovsky was adept at using international travel to raise his profile and strengthen ties with foreign politicians. Vladimir Zhirinovsky and Vladimir Putin met in the early 2000s. Putin respected Zhirinovsky for his ability to draw attention to sensitive issues and for his dedication to politics. Despite their differences, Putin noted that Zhirinovsky played an important role in Russia's political system. Their interactions showed that despite their differences in political views, they could find common ground and work for the good of the country. Vladimir Zhirinovsky was known for his scandalous antics and conflicts. One of the most famous incidents was his behavior at a debate in 1995 when he threw a juice glass at his opponent, Boris Nemtsov. This incident caused widespread publicity and reinforced Zhirinovsky's reputation as a man unafraid to take on conflict. Vladimir Zhirinovsky had a significant impact on the younger generation of Russians. His vivid speeches and unconventional statements attracted the attention of young people. Zhirinovsky actively worked with youth organizations and supported young politicians. The LDPR under his leadership held many events to attract young voters. He often appeared on television, radio, and the internet, which helped him remain popular among young people and a relevant figure in Russian politics. Zhirinovsky was known for his aggressive and assertive style of communication. He was not afraid to speak directly and openly, often sparking heated discussions and debates. His charisma and brilliance made him a figure that could not be ignored. Zhirinovsky was able to attract attention and make people listen to him, which is a rare and valuable quality for a politician. Vladimir Zhirinovsky remained an active figure in Russian politics until the end of his life. Despite his deteriorating health, he continued to participate in State Duma meetings and to be active in the media. His energy and charisma remained unchanged. Zhirinovsky continued to speak out on key issues of Russian domestic and foreign policy, making his predictions. He remained true to his convictions and his straightforward, often provocative style of communication. His speeches resonated, especially on strengthening Russia, improving the economic situation, and fighting corruption. Zhirinovsky's quote reflecting his life position, "I never give up and I never retreat." In politics, as in life, it is important to go to the end. These words emphasize his determination and perseverance. Zhirinovsky passed away on April 6, 2022, leaving a significant mark on Russian politics. His death was a great loss for the LDPR and all those who followed his career. Zhirinovsky will be remembered as a colorful and extraordinary politician. His legacy lives on in the activities of the LDPR, which he founded and led for decades. Vladimir Zhirinovsky was a unique and multifaceted politician who left a deep trace in the history of Russia. His life and career were filled with bright moments, contradictions, and amazing events. We hope that you were interested in learning more about this unusual politician. Thank you for watching and see you soon.